Welcome, everyone. I'm Joe Roberto, joined by my co-host, Cassie Martinez, and we're coming to you live from the Mr. Olympia Expo in Orlando, Florida. Our first match of the day, the Northern Conference Championship between the Orlando Aces and the Southwest Florida Sharks. One of these teams looking to punch their ticket to tomorrow's Olympia Grid League Championship. Here we go. And they're off. Alex Velez out on the floor with Megan Medeiros for the Aces. On the other side, Nick Shappe.
And Chelsea Rainieri on the Sharks. Rainieri, first female to start her elements here on the grid today on this partner forward. Looks like there was a little bit mix-up on the Aces side.
Yes, and they're working through 8 repetitions apiece for the ladies right here. Megan Medeiros, she's got a 20-pound dumbbell in her hand. And now we're looking at Shappe. That first barbell, 125 pounds, 8 repetitions. Now, once again, they cannot be working, the partner cannot be working until their respective partner is in that hash mark that you see on the side of your screen. Right now, Alex Velez on the right side of the screen in that hash mark. Megan Medeiros chipping away at her 8 overhead squats at 75 pounds.
This is a great race to watch and to start off with because it sets the tone for the entire match, in my opinion. It definitely sets the tone for how well the team is working together, how well they're able to communicate. Are they listening to the judge when they're telling them that they are faulting out?
Yeah, this takes tons of practice. Like you said, great communication because it's all about timing. Although you might be finished with your repetition, you cannot start. You need to hurry and get over to the hash mark so your partner can get started. Now we're looking at Nick Shappe. He's doing these overhead squats. That barbell, 155 pounds. He's got 2 repetitions remaining of the 6. And Chelsea Rainieri now picking up her barbell, 95 pounds, 6 reps for her.
Looks like the Sharks are gearing up to go back to the finish line and substitute out for different players. That's Derek Anderson and Valerie Gunning coming onto the grid to replace them.
Yes, and that's Anderson now on your screen. He's got 4 reps. His single dumbbell pistol thrusters are 60 pounds in his hand.
On the Aces side, a really risky fall.
They had a fault over on the Aces side. Taylar, Stallings,
and Angel.
and a partner out there out on the grid.
Serrano there for the Aces.
Yeah, Serrano is out there. And now we're going to go over to the Sharks. Anderson just getting under that barbell, 185 pounds. He's got 4 total repetitions.
Taylar Stallings making up time on those pistol thrusters. She's fast with it.
And now we're looking at Serrano. He's got that 185-pound barbell. Back with the Sharks in quadrant number 4. They are just a few reps ahead, and there was a fault for Anderson. Another fault for Anderson, now leaving a door open for the Aces in quadrant number 4.
Derek Anderson had quite a struggle there with the pistol thrusters. He's still struggling a little bit there, and there he goes finishing up that rep. Valerie Gunning's gonna take it.
Now
looks like they are neck and neck. Taylar Stallings caught up time. Her and Valerie are rep for rep.
Let's go to split screen. We can get both of these teams. They are literally neck and neck. Stallings, and it looks like the Sharks, 1 rep remaining. Wow!
Oh, Taylar Stallings finishing just seconds behind.
Not even a half a second. There was still about 40 seconds left. So both teams blazing through this partner forward. I mean, it could have been anybody's. Now, the Sharks had a commanding lead going into quadrant number 4. Anderson struggling a little bit. Now, the dumbbell for him was 70 pounds, a 70-pound single dumbbell thruster. Very, very difficult. Able to finally finish it, get away from the, I think he had 4 faults in a row.
Yeah, it looked like his problem was just getting below parallel, because you need to get below parallel for it to count as a rep.
Absolutely. Well, that was
super exciting.
That's right. Well,
these teams are fired up. Sharks blazing down the grid to meet their teammates that won.
And we'll be back in just a minute after this player feature on Taylar and Janine.
How would that even look? Like, as far as me being a coach, owner, and everything, and then us having to play together, work together, like, this is really going to test our relationship. I told her that she had to try out for the team. And she was our unanimous pick. I was scared and nervous the entire time leading all the way up until the first match because I'm intense. I know I'm very intense.
It caught me off guard a little bit, I think, on the first practice. I was like, oh wait, I can't like go over and just give you a kiss. I'm like, yeah.
We tried to keep, when we're on the team, in the practice and everything, just 100% business.
As a coach, right, she's so motivational, and like I know for me, like just the way you just pour into people on a day-to-day, and then just still having that energy and all that love to still like bring that into our relationship. It's like two different pots, you know? Like I like baking cheesecake, right? I like baking cheesecake, right? So it's like I have to make two separate cheesecakes. I have to make one for the family, right? And I make one for home just so that we can have some and she can have some. And that's like, you know, that's our love and support, right? We pour into people on a day-to-day, but like we make sure we have enough to support and pour into each other. So
now I want cheesecake.
I know. We support each other in everything, like all aspects. We both have the same type of background, whether it was college sports, high school sports, all that. There are a lot of days when you do question things and you're like, why do I do this? You know? We are there for each other in that.
We compete with everything.
We do.
We're two high level athletes.
Even like going to bed at night and turn the light off. Like, it's like...
We pick and choose our battles.
We pick and choose. Yeah,
but it's been fun.
It has. You know we have to talk about them.
Better not be what I think it is.
Yes.
We are not talking about it.
Yes.
No.
Why not?
I told you no.
Why not?
I can't.
Come back!
I cannot.
Come back!
I can't.
All right, party people, welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are in our Northern Conference Championship match between the Aces and the Sharks. We had a very exhilarating first race of the match, and now we are getting ready for the mirror. Cassie, what do we got going on with the mirror today?
So the mirrors, gender groups of 3 mirroring each other, doing the same movement and the same amount of reps. They don't necessarily have to be synchronized, but here's the caveat. The bar cannot touch the ground, all right? So they have to go along and make human racks.
All right. Yeah, and we are going to go to our start line with our teams. All right, they're off. Now, as you had mentioned, once this barbell leaves the ground, it must stay in the air. Now, teams can essentially acting as human racks to get the barbell from quadrant to quadrant. Now, today they are doing 40 hang clean and jerks, 10 in each quadrant. For the man, the barbell's 185 pounds and 120 for the ladies. Now on our screen, there's a little bit of confusion with the Aces, communication error. The Sharks, now we're looking at the Sharks chipping away. Gomez on the right side of your screen.
And that's Kristen Bonitto.
And Bonitto on the left. Once again, you see hands in the air from our judges, 10 repetitions in each quadrant.
Go on the Aces side. Again, the ladies finishing up before the men. They do have to go be on the same quadrant at all times, or else reps on the element will not count.
Yep, and now we're looking at Shappe and gunning, chipping away. Referee's hands are up. 2 reps remaining. They have a slight lead over the Aces, and they are now heading in to quadrant number 4. Aces now have slightly caught up, close that gap just a little bit. Who is going to take this mirror Now,
Taylor Stallings and Nate Jansen finishing up those reps.
And that's Nally and Anderson on your screen for the Sharks.
And the Aces closed that gap. Sharks blew their lead. They're going to unofficially take this race.
So what it looked like, they're celebrating, it looked like happened is as they headed into that fourth quadrant, they started to get a little shaken up with the transition. The Sharks, I mean. The Aces had already caught up in quadrant number 3, cut a little bit of their time, did the same thing in quadrant 4. Great communication, great teamwork, ultimately edging out the Sharks by just mere seconds.
Just like we said, Joe, this match is going to be neck and neck. And so far, here we are, 1-1.
It's exactly what we saw the last time these teams faced each other. It went all the way up to the final race of the match.
Definitely, and a lot of strategy coming from the Aces in putting Taylor Stallings in that last quadrant. They knew that she was gonna smoke that. She probably has one of the fastest cycle speeds in all the women in all of grid.
Yeah, and it's probably a benefit to have a coach and co-owner out there on the grid, tons of experience. She can, you know, technically you can't have your coach come out onto the grid, but when the coach is a player, whole different story.
And she will coach you while
she's working.
While working, completing elements like, hey, do that faster. Like, hello, catch up with me. She is a beast. I had the opportunity to talk with her a few weeks ago. Her team chemistry is great. The thing that she's anticipating the most was the mental preparation of coming into this match. Just getting their minds right, getting them into that game mode. And it looks like they are here to swim with the Sharks.
100%, they are ready. Now, what we have coming up next is our home ringer point. This was chosen by the Sharks. They're your home team today. Let's talk about what we have coming up for that ringer. Before we get those graphics up on the screen, they're just making sure everything is clear on the grid for these players. Now it looks like we have Chelsea Rainieri, and the Aces had not decided. That's right, the Aces had not decided.
Oh, they sent out Blatt.
That's right, so David Blatt going out for the Aces against Chelsea Rainieri. Now the Sharks, like I said, chose this. And let's go ahead and get the graphics up on the screen. We'll talk about what we have going on for today's ringer point.
So a ringer point is 2 players going head-to-head with each other. Only 1 player allowed on the grid. And this is our fastest race in the grid league because it'll just happen in mere seconds. It's your specialty. They're going to send the best person out to do whatever the movement is. And it looks like this one's going to be 1 chest-to-bar, 1 double touch, and 1 triple touch.
Yeah, so it's 3 reps of that. So that is a complex. So they'll do a chest-to-bar, a toe-to-bar, a chest-to-bar, a toe-to-bar, chest-to-bar, bar muscle up, all as 1 complex 3 times through.
Woo.
So it's very, in addition to being very difficult, it's also very complicated to think about while you're doing it. So taking your time, even though it's a fast race, taking your time during it can ultimately give you that victory.
100%.
Both these players on these teams, very, very strong body weight specialists.
Definitely. You can only use 1 player for a ringer point in the season, and they're sending out their best. They save them here for the playoffs.
And they're off. Rainieri on your screen, Blatt on the far side, both on the rig at the same time. As I mentioned, toe-to-bar, chest-to-bar, toe-to-bar, chest-to-bar, and a bar muscle-up. A huge complex. They must get through it 3 times. Blatt and Rainieri neck and neck. Blatt's finished. He's off, sprinting to the finish, and will just slightly edge out Rainieri as he slides into home.
What a fight. I can't think of anything that either of them could have done to make it faster. That was absolutely amazing. Chelsea Rainieri is a former college gymnast, so this is this is something that she's familiar with doing.
Nothing new to her at all.
Yes.
It was very, very close. That was an awesome ringer. We will be right back. Here's a little feature on Cara Palumbo.
how would that even look? Like, as far as...
It doesn't matter if you're male or female. You know, I'm not just going to come into a department and be accepted right away. I knew right away that I was going to have to work hard. Just prove to the guys that you can do the job. Being able to do that task is what motivates me. It all narrows down to, can you do the job or not? It's my room, guys. Welcome to my crib. Don't look at my dirty laundry on the floor. My name is Kara Palumbo. I am a bodyweight specialist for the Southwest Florida Sharks. I work for South Trail Fire Department, and I am a paramedic firefighter, and I've been doing that for just shy of 4 years. So this is the inside of our home of Station 63. This wall right here is dedicated to the Surfside collapse that happened back in 2021. My captain, Captain Robinson, was actually there. My grandparents pretty much inspired me to be a firefighter. I remember as a little kid going to their house, and they would have the portable radio on top of their refrigerator, and once in a while they would get a call and they'd have to leave real quick. They were telling me about all these cool calls they were going on and how cool it was to be a firefighter. I'm like, I can do that. These are all different calls or training events that we've all been a part of. Here's our station mascot. Captain's room is over here. He's hard at work. Hey guys. Hey. There are obstacles, you know, if you're strong enough, if you can hang with the guys. About 5% of career firefighters are women. Kind of got to get the respect of the people in the department. A second gym in here. As long as you prove yourself, you stay active, you stay taking classes, and you just prove to the guys that you can do the job. They accept you as your family, as your sister.
Go get him, Kara. Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live from Orange County Convention Center here at the Mr. Olympia Expo in Orlando, Florida. We are now 3 races in to a very exciting match in the Northern Conference between the Orlando Aces and the Southwest Florida Sharks. Currently, Aces leading the Sharks 5-4. Coming up next, we have the Echo race. Cassie, why don't you tell everybody what we got going on with this Echo?
Echo is a race that happens twice. That's why it's called Echo. The players may substitute at any time, but it's only 2 players on the grid at a time. All right, 1 player must be accumulating reps according to a designated number of elements, and only 1 player can be moving at a time, so the other one can be standing close to make sure that they're able to take over if needed.
And what kind of movements are they looking at today?
Well, Joe, it looks like we have 53-pound kettlebells. For the men, they're going to be doing squat snatches. The women will be doing regular snatches. They got deficit freestanding handstand push-ups and a 6-pound med ball muscle up. They're going to be doing 15 of those. That's usually around where the team's messed up. And then after that, they're going to do 205-pound movements on the barbell.
That's right. No, you got it. Here we go. On your screen, the Aces, now the Sharks. Quentin Ambrosio for the Sharks and Valerie gunning for the Aces. Lacey Boyd and Taylar Blatt already out there waiting. Now, they are chipping away at 40 single-arm kettlebell snatches. For the men, those are squat snatches. For the ladies, they can be power or muscle. As you're seeing, all they have to do is bring that thing directly overhead. Once completing that, they're going to head over to 15 5-inch deficit freestanding handstand push-ups.
It looks like both teams sent out their strong ladies to just destroy those kettlebells and send out one of their men that's going to be doing the body weight specialty movements. They're just standing by waiting for those ladies to finish them.
And you're exactly right. Reason for that, most likely, range of motion. You don't have to go down into the full squat. The turnover is much quicker. You can knock out these snatches a heck of a lot quicker than if you had to squat all the way down and stand it up.
100%.
That's Sam Nally on your screen, wrapping up things for the Sharks. Gunning had initially started. Ref's hands are in the air. For the Aces, we have our Olivia Scott chipping away as well. Sharks are the...
Quentin Ambrosio started those handstand push-ups here already. He's on a deficit of 5 inches, and he's already quite a few reps in.
Yeah, they've got about a 6-rep lead. Hands are in the air for the Sharks. We're looking, there we go. We got the Sharks on the screen. That's Gunning, trying to wrap up those last 2. And now over with the Aces. Aces, Megan Medeiros trying to knock out and catch up with those freestanding handstand push-ups.
Looks like we got Chalking Graham back here for the Southwest Florida Sharks. It's been a while since we've seen him. He's been out due to an injury, but he's a key player for the Sharks, and I know they're glad to have him back. Chelsea Rainieri taking over for him, college gymnast life.
Yeah, and these muscle-ups, very difficult. Muscle-up, an already very difficult movement, but, oh, I was just going to say, keeping that ball between your legs is next level.
Might have jinxed it just a little bit there. That's a big part of what makes this element so difficult and where people tend to mess up and make up time.
And we've got both teams on your screen right here. In the back of the screen, that's Chalking Graham, like you said, back on the grid for one of the first times this season. And David Blatt for the Aces. He had 1 rep remaining. He's done. He's actually doing an extra. They're saying you're done. And he's not quite understanding what's going on. Chelsea Rainieri, she's got 4 reps remaining. She thinks she can wrap it up as Chalking goes to tap in for Nick Shappe.
Big miscommunication on the Aces side from the referees, but that's all right. Taylar Stallings is already a few reps deep, and it looks like DeMatti is going to be taking over those reps and possibly taking them all the way home.
Now that barbell, 205 pounds in quadrant number 4, 15 clusters. It's either a power for the ladies or a squat clean thruster for the men. That's DeMatti on your screen with Taylar Stallings for the Aces. They can, as you can see, 1 minute left to get through these reps. Gomez now taking over for the Sharks.
And it looks like the Aces are going to take this race.
Yeah, the Aces blazed through that. Even with the communication error, still had enough of a gap. Now 2 reps remaining. Gomez saying, don't worry, I'll wrap this thing up.
They're taking it easy. They don't need a rush here. The time cap is over 30 seconds. They only had that 1 rep. They're going to cool it through the finish line.
Yeah, they had about 30 seconds, so he said, let's not waste energy. There's probably some ideas. Maybe they need her for something else later on. Save that barbell for 205 for him, not quite as difficult.
Definitely. Even though the Sharks didn't win this race, it looks like a big win for communication for them.
Absolutely. 2 points ultimately going to the Aces for winning that race. 1 point will go to the Sharks for finishing under that cap. Now we'll be right back with a word from one of our sponsors.
Before our start of our next echo, as he reset the equipment to his race.
My apology. We'll be just a minute more. So,
as we said, the echo's going to happen twice.
So
they're going to run it back and do it again.
Yes, my fault there. Communication error on my end.
There we go. We once again have Valerie Gunning out here on the grid for the Southwest Florida Sharks.
Yes, that's Gunning for the Sharks. Now they are, once again,
Lacey Boyd for the Aces.
They have 40 snatches with that kettlebell.
The Sharks didn't necessarily lose by that much, and with only 45 seconds in between each of the echoes, there's not a lot of time for the coaches to come up with different strategies. So it's pretty much whatever you stuck to is what you're going to stick to, and it looks like so far they're going to keep the exact same order of roster on the grid this time.
Yeah, and like we were saying, the snatch without having to do a full squat is obviously a lot quicker as far as turnover on these reps. So We'll keep the ladies out there for both teams, most likely, having the gentlemen ready to start kicking off those 5-inch deficit handstand push-ups.
100%. Olivia Scott over there on the aces, absolutely crushing it. She's just breezing through this like she eats these for breakfast.
There, and now we can see 4 reps remaining for Scott, 1 rep remaining for Gunning over with the Sharks. So the Sharks have started just ahead, but a lot closer than they were in the first half of this Echo.
Quentin Ambrosio looking really strong on these. Really good communication from Nick Habich, staying there next to him on the grid, well, off the grid.
Yep, and now we see
sure he's off the grid.
Megan Medeiros on your screen, trading in with David Blatt. Hand is up in the air. And there are 2 reps remaining on the far side for the Aces. Both teams starting their muscle-ups at the same time.
There we go, and it's once again the same roster, Chalking Graham and Chelsea Rainieri here on the Sharks, and that's Meg Medeiros over there on the Aces. Alvarez Diaz, we haven't seen him yet. He's here on the grid. He's actually from Colombia, always wanted to be part of the Florida Grid League, and now he has his chance this season for the very first time. And he's proven himself to be such an amazing bodyweight specialist here, coming in for his rookie season, looking like he's been here for the whole entire time.
He had quite the showing at the last match as well.
He does only speak Spanish. There's a little bit of a language barrier between him and his teammates, but nonetheless, that love and that camaraderie is still there.
Absolutely.
Love to see it.
Referee's hands are up for the Sharks. 2 reps remaining. The Aces have already begun their...
Trisha Davis and Alex Hollings taking over. First time we're seeing them on the grid here today. They are key players, definitely one of the best strike specialists on the grid here today.
Yep, and once again, Gomez out on the floor for the Sharks, along with Jodi Kennedy.
Coach Nick Habich just telling Gomez to just fire through those, finish them up.
And there are 3 reps remaining. We've got both teams on your screen. This is going to be close. 3 reps separating these teams. Lacey Boyd trying to wrap up the last clean at 2:05. She's good, and the Aces are going to take both pieces of this Echo as the team comes to celebrate. And there are 2 reps remaining with Nick Shappe and the Sharks.
Once again, finishing that at a leisurely pace, the Sharks are going to get credit for that race. The Sharks are coming down to meet their teammates at the finish line, even though they did not win, making sure that they have that teamwork. They don't look too happy, but hey, guess what? There's still a lot of races. There's still points to be made.
Yeah, and they've gotten 1 point for each of those Echo races, as we spoke about earlier. 2 points for each of the races for the Aces for winning. 1 still going to the Sharks for each of them, so they're still in. Only a few points separate these 2 teams, and lots of racing left to go.
Definitely.
So, with that being said, now we will take a quick break and hear a word from one of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
A lot of people don't go to the doctor because they're afraid the doctor's going to say, stop CrossFitting. We should never be our patient's limiting factor. Our job is to help our patients hit whatever goal they want to with no restrictions. And I think today's healthcare model doesn't allow that because your insurance will limit that. Being in an insurance-based clinic, a lot of times you get restricted on what you can treat, how much of it you can treat. And then half the time people are told, oh, well, it hurts when you do a hip and pull-up. Don't do those anymore. Rather than, hey, let's find a way to resolve this so you can go back to doing that. You want to go talk to somebody who does those things and totally understands what you're doing, rather than going to somebody who's never done any of it before and maybe understands biomechanics really well, but if they can't actually physically watch you do it, it's going to be really hard for them to fix that problem. So I would say, if you're dealing with any kind of pain in the gym, we're the people to go to.
lady.
Yeah, it's really good.
It tastes like bacon.
Yeah, the ribeye. Ribeye's my favorite. I can eat it all day.
Can I take the whole thing? Yeah. Oh, where's that chicken one?
Where's the pork? I'll take the pork.
I did not expect this.
Well, here's the deal. With those two, I'll talk to you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our first match of the day, the Northern Conference Championship. You were just witnessing the back half of the Echo, which is back-to-back races, same exact race separated by 45 seconds of transition. But just hearing from the commissioner, they are going to be rerunning elements 3 and 4 of that Echo. So that is the med ball muscle ups and the 15 clusters at 205 pounds. Reason being, there was a miscount in the first half of the Echoes on the Aces side for those med ball muscle ups.
Yep, and in the spirit of fairness, it's only fair that the Sharks get their chance to make it up.
Absolutely. So that being said, right now the Aces have one half of the Echo. The other half is we're about 30 seconds off of them going after it. Once again, they're going to have 15 med ball muscle ups with 6-pound ball between their legs, and then 15 clusters at 205 pounds. That is a squat clean thruster for the men, or just power cleans for the ladies, as they are sharing the same bar. So here we go. We're looking at Chelsea Rainieri and Quentin Ambrosio for the Sharks, and Megan Medeiros and Taylar Blatt for the Aces. Both teams on the rings. Quentin Ambrosio, 1 rep ahead. He got going a little bit sooner.
Yeah, it looks like he's not stringing them together quite as accurately as he was before, though. It looks like Megan Medeiros has a little bit more of a rhythm here.
Yeah, I would say that fatigue must be playing a role. I mean, they've already done 30 med ball muscle ups over 2 of these Echo races. Now
in
having
less than
to redo
4 minutes.
it. And yeah, in addition to being super quick.
Quentin Ambrosio helping Chelsea Rainieri up onto the rig. David Blatt stringing those together, looking like a pro over there, seasoned veteran over there on the Aces.
And what we are watching for is the referee's hands, which we just saw go up for the Aces. Blatt, we can see on the left side of your screen, hand is up as well. So these teams are only separated by about 2 reps. Now over to the Aces. Taylar Stallings already chipping away that barbell, 205 pounds. She is power cleaning without issue. Over with the Sharks.
That is Jodi, Kennedy, and Gomez. Looks like they are just a few reps behind. Kennedy going a little bit slower than she usually would. She wasn't necessarily doing those power cleans touch and go.
And 3 reps remaining for the Aces. It looks like this will be another Aces race, regardless of how the last one went. And that will be the case on the right side of your screen. The Aces going to celebrate. And back on the other side, Gomez and Kennedy just trying to chip away and finish under that cap. They still have about 45 seconds.
With only 2 reps remaining.
2 reps remaining. So again, wanting to finish so they can get that 1 point to keep them in the game. And there you go, Gomez wrapping things up, celebrating with their coach, Nick Habich. Still proud of them. You know, again, going through this Echo race, not 2, but 3 times, at least the back half.
With the same players.
205-pound cleans. I mean, picking that bar up 45 times, and like you said, within a 4 or 5 minute time span. So, really, really awesome. We are going to be setting up for the ladder coming up next. So we're going to hear from a few of our sponsors, and then we'll come back and we've got our ladder race. We'll be right back.
My name is Nick Habich. I am the coach and a player on the Southwest Florida Sharks. I was born in Miami, Florida. I was raised in Miami, New York, Connecticut, kind of all over the place. I went back to Miami for high school and then I joined the Army from there. During high school, I realized I was not super invested in school. It wasn't something I was looking forward to. It wasn't something I wanted to continue with. Probably wasn't mature enough for that. I was in 7th grade when 9/11 happened, and that's something that had kind of like lived on my shoulder over those last couple of years. And when it came time to finish up high school, it was like, what am I gonna do? I figured I can go waste a bunch of time and money in college, or I can go do something that at the time felt like really important. From my time in the service, probably the most important lesson I've learned is like teamwork matters, relying on other people around you, helping to build them up. All of that matters in like the corporate world or the athletic world or anywhere else. And very few people understand that as well as military members. And I think the rest of the population could really benefit from understanding that. Fitness helped me a lot when I was in the Army because obviously I had to be in shape. I was in the infantry. So, you know, that's exactly what you think it is. You have to be in really good shape all the time or your life is at risk. Once I got out, fitness has been really good for my mental health. It's kept me centered. It's kept me engaged. It's kept me motivated. It also helps me have like a shared bond with other people. If I could give anyone any advice, especially if they were like getting out of the military or they're in any other kind of like fraternal organization, like first responder job, I would say definitely get involved in fitness. Get involved in like recreational, like group fitness. Go find a gym where people have similar goals and they want to work towards things like you do, because having a bunch of people like that around you is really beneficial mentally. I'd like to shout out my fiance, Stephanie Boyer, for coming up here and supporting us every single match and putting up with me having to be at practice and dealing with all the players all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are getting ready for our ladder race. On your screen, both teams coming out, just warming up a little bit with these barbells. Still got a few minutes before we will kick things off. What an exciting match so far. Currently, Aces leading the Sharks 9-6. Only a 3-point difference between the two. First race of the day went to the Sharks. Every race since then has been the Aces.
Correct.
So, you know, it seems like the Aces, they have a game plan. They seem to be executing it.
That mental preparation that Taylar was talking about, like, they were sleeping on it, Joe.
Yeah, 100%. Today,
I wasn't expecting that answer when she told me that, by the way. I was thinking more like, oh yeah, you know, you're working out more. She's like, no, we're getting our head in the game. And I love that, and I love to hear it. Taylar Stallings is such a fierce competitor.
Yeah, all these athletes, top-tier athletes coming from different parts of sports altogether. You've got gymnasts, you've got CrossFit athletes, you've got ex-collegiate football players. I mean, all over the map. So, fitness is not necessarily something they lack, but not all of them are part of team sports. Yep. You know, so communication might be something that some players need to work on. Mental strength, mental toughness, awareness, things like that.
100%. And by the way, this match format is called The Walking Dead, all right? I know we just finished Halloween, but here's why we have that name. We have the handstand walks in Jack and Jill, and this ladder that we're about to see includes a deadlift clean complex, hence The Walking Dead.
Yep, changing the names ultimately from last season, just trying to correlate a little bit more with the movements and things that are actually happening on the grid, like you said. Handstand walks, which we're gonna see for Jack and Jill. Deadlifts, which we're gonna see right here in this ladder. And what do we have coming up for this ladder, Cass?
So a ladder is just the grid full of barbells, males on one side, females on the other. They're going to be going down the grid as it gets heavier and heavier and worth even more points.
All right. We'll go to the start line. We are 10 seconds away from kicking this thing off. Now, as you said,
stand by. Race.
All right, so they're off. Now, as you said, this is 2 deadlifts and then 1 clean. It can be a power clean or a squat clean, does not matter. For the ladies, right now, we're looking at Lacey Boyd.
Trisha Davis over here.
Trisha Davis for the Aces. and Kennedy for the Sharks. Now for these ladies, quadrant number 1, the barbell's 135 pounds. For quadrant 2, 155, 175, and then quadrant number 4, 195 pounds. Now for the aces on your screen, that's Alex Hollings. He is in quadrant 3. That barbell is 275 pounds.
And here we have Anthony Nimchek here for the Southwest Florida Sharks. Now, you wouldn't think it just by looking at this race, but there's a lot of strategy involved here, Joe. It depends on which barbells you're going to go to first. It looks like both teams are going straight to that second barbell. They're not even bothering with that 1-point barbell in the first quadrant.
Right, so typically you would see maybe just like a snatch or a squat clean thruster, but now we're seeing 3 movements: deadlift, deadlift, clean. A little bit more time consuming, but still only 4 minutes to get all 10 of your players through the grid. So there has to be some strategy, like you said.
Definitely, and it's also about which players you're going to be sending out onto the grid as well. You have to think about who's your fastest, who's your strongest, who are your aces, essentially. And here we have Ryan DeMatti here on the aces, and he is definitely the embodiment of what the aces wanted on their team in a strength specialist. He is such a key player in almost every single race here.
Absolutely, and on your screen now, Anderson hitting his 2 deadlifts and 1 clean 300 pounds. He does stand it up. Back over with the aces, Taylar, Stallings in quadrant number 3. No issue with that 175-pound bar. Now this barbell, 195 pounds, power clean, no issue.
Now, this is a race that it's hard to see who's ahead until the very end when the points are counted. But you can kind of estimate. Right now, I'm seeing that the aces are about 2 quadrants ahead. It's kind of hard to see who's ahead, who missed the barbell, so on and so forth. I don't think anybody's missed so far, but it's just a matter of getting through it.
Yeah, and it looks like the aces have had the majority of their players able to crush quadrants 2, 3, and 4 without any failure. On your screen now, Nick Shappe from the Sharks in quadrant 2 at 250 pounds, no problem. He's heading over to that next barbell at 275 pounds. There is still just over 1 minute left on this time cap for these teams to get their 10 players through the ladder.
Which, once again, Nick Shappe is no strength. Oh, there he goes. He's going down. He is not going to get that 4th quadrant bar. That's all right, though. They still have more chances. He made it through the finish line. Somebody's coming back for him. But as I was saying, Nick Shappe is no stranger to playing the aces in the playoffs. He was with the Gainesville Wild last year, and they prevailed over them, making it to the championships.
That is right. Now we're looking at Valerie Gunning in the back side of your screen, and right here on the front side of your screen,
Angel
Serrano. My apologies. There we go.
Chalky Graham here for the Southwest Florida Sharks. They are sure happy to have him back. Look at that speed. Look at that strength. It looks like he just, this is second nature to him, like breathing.
Yeah, and that might have been part of the strategy. Get him out there. He's the faster guy with that barbell. With only 4 seconds remaining, he's able to stand up that 300-pound bar. Unfortunately, Chelsea Rainieri did get out onto the grid, but she was not able to wrap things up.
What an impressive showing by both of these teams here on the ladder. They're going to count up that score and see what's happening. In the meantime, I'm here with Jess Kreisman. How you doing today, Jess?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Awesome, thanks. Jess Kreisman is coach, owner, and player of the Tampa Bay Brigade. What's it like being here in the playoffs, seeing these teams that you've been going against all season?
I'll say it's a lot less stressful. It's much nicer to just kind of chill and watch and wonder what's going to happen. But no, it's really cool just kind of seeing everybody in their element and like going back and forth. And it's going to be a close race, so it's exciting so far. So
100%. What did you think about that strategy on the ladder of both teams going straight to that second barbell? Is that something that you would implement?
Yeah, depending on how long the movement is, sometimes it's beneficial to skip that first bar because if you get more players through at higher bars for more points, it works out. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out when they tally it if it was worth it or not.
Definitely. What is one thing that you're looking forward to seeing these two teams going head to head? going head-to-head against each other today?
Oh, probably the triads. I mean, that's just like a suck fest of just goodness. And it's always like, it's towards the end of the match, but everybody's really tired. So it's just like comes down to who wants it more. And it's just always a gut check time. So that'll be really fun to watch.
100%. That's definitely a fun one. Are you looking more forward to the male or the female?
Probably the female, just because I can relate to it a little bit more.
Heard that.
You know what I mean? Like when you watch, like when I watch other females do weights, I know what that feels like. Guys, I'm like, I can't relate to what that is. So, but yeah, I mean, both are going to be great, but just probably the females.
100%. So, as you're wrapping up this season, what are your final thoughts on the season? Reflections about your team?
I think we're already making moves for next year. Like as soon as we got done, we're like, what can we change? What can we do? Who can we add? What do we need to do? We're already in the works for making things happen for next year. So that part's really exciting to see the improvements that we're already making. So
awesome, super cool. Thank you so much, Jess, for talking with me today, and I hope to see you next season.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Alrighty.
As we move into our ringer point, this is going to be our triple unders. We're going to take the best from the Sharks. Martin.
All right, folks. Once again, thanks, Jess Kraisman, for joining us here on the set. If you just overheard the announcement for the ladder race that we just witnessed, the winners, 77-69, the Aces.
What?
Over the Sharks, which, like you said, you saw it going down. It seemed like they were hitting all those quadrants, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So ultimately winning by 8 points. Because of that, 2 points will go to the Aces for winning that race, and because they're inside 10 points, the Sharks will receive that 1 extra point. Currently now, unofficially, Aces lead still the Sharks 11-7 with 5 races remaining.
Woo. There's still plenty of time for the Sharks to make up time here. Nobody has gotten no credit for any of these races so far.
And we haven't seen the bonus flag yet.
Neither bonus flag. There's still 2 bonus flags in play, which, in case you didn't know, bonus flags can be thrown during any race 1 time throughout the match, and you get an extra point.
Right, so we haven't seen one just yet. Now, this was chosen by the Aces, and they are going for 12 triple under with the jump rope. This is going to be extremely fast.
Looks like we have Darren Lasso here for the Orlando Aces and Quentin Ambrosio here for the Southwest Florida Sharks. Both of them not missing a step so far. Oh, I lied. There goes Quentin Ambrosio. And Darren Lasso is going to take it all the way to the finish line.
Yes, and that's actually Samuel Martin.
My apologies.
That's all right, yeah. Sam Martin out on both gentlemen with their ponytails. Or, well, Ambrosio had the...
I know, they look so similar, and they're both bodyweight specialists. They're both super cool guys.
Yep, and Lasso absolutely smashed those triple unders. If you haven't tried anything like that before, single under with a jump rope, some of us do that in school, this and that. CrossFit community there. Double unders here at Grid, triple unders. 3 times under every rotation.
That's right. If you weren't here for the commissioner's speech earlier, Darren Lasso is one of the very final remaining members of the Orlando Aces. No, I lied, sorry. He used to be on the Tampa Bay Brigade. Now he's on the Orlando Aces.
Right.
And he is such a key player. If you've seen him in the last triad, he absolutely smashed it. What excitement. And I know that he's pumped to be here today.
Definitely. That was awesome to watch. We're going to get set up for Jack and Jill, and for now, we're going to hear from, excuse me, one of our sponsors, Element.
I love Element Salt a lot.
Hardcore Element user.
Element's been awesome. Element.
I've been using Element basically every day. I love it.
I was, back to working out and wanted to make sure that I stayed hydrated because that's so important for your supply.
It was a game changer for me because all through high school and college, I would always cramp. This generally comes from that mineral imbalance. Having Element T, in my training bag keeps me hydrated. It's phenomenal.
It rejuvenates me in the workout. It's what my body craves and it's what it needs after sweating so much. It's definitely helped me get through really long, tough workouts and just give me the energy that I need in order to keep pushing through.
I'm Dr. Jamie here with the Box Stop, and we are going to talk a little bit about staying safe with your kipping movements while doing movements like the double touch and the triple touch. So first off, if we aren't capable of doing toes to bar, chest to bar, and bar muscle ups, we should work on those things separately before you start getting into putting them together. But this is kind of a length tensionship relationship as well. And what we're trying to do here is maintain our body in good tension as we start moving through these patterns. If you do a toes to bar and you're too far underneath the rig, you're going to lose all your tension when you try to pop up into that pull-up position. So one of the things that you'll see is people will actually come back pretty far on the toes to bar so that they can drive through and get their chest to the bar for that next part of the movement. The triple touch is no different, except for you, instead of going back into the toes to bar, you're going to go now into that bar muscle up. So most of the faults that we see with the double touch and triple touch can also kind of mimic the just regular kipping pattern, whether you're doing butterfly pull-ups or butterfly chest to bar in regards to the front part of your shoulder. So if we're missing that range of motion going through, we're gonna really struggle with that kip. If we're having pain as we pull and we fall through, you're gonna struggle when we start to do that butterfly. So what we're gonna try to do is make sure that we have available range of motion, but also the strength that we need to be able to move into those patterns.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, just to recap what we just saw, we saw the ringer point.
We did.
It was 12 triple unders, Lasso versus Martin. Now, the aces, we were talking about the bonus flag. They did throw the bonus flag, but they were not given that extra point because part of the rules is they cannot throw that bonus flag if it is within 1 minute of the start of a race.
Which is very unfortunate because they knew that Darren Lasso was going to absolutely crush that. Now they kind of have to scramble to figure out where they're going to throw that bonus flag, because you don't want to throw it on a race that you're not 100% certain that you're going to win, or else that other team can steal your points.
Yeah, and if they even need it at this point.
Right.
Like we said, currently they're leading 11-7. We're getting ready to head into our next race, which is Jack and Jill. Let's talk about Jack and Jill. What do our viewers have to look forward to?
Jack and Jill is a race where there is 3 stations of body weight elements, 1 male, 1 female at the grid at a time, and the elements are going to increase in difficulty and decrease in reps as they go down. All right, once again, this is the Walking Dead, so we're going to be seeing a lot of handstand walking. They're going to be doing handstand walks in the first one, 6-pound med ball handstand walks, and then going into that sled drag handstand walk all the way to the finish line.
Yeah, this is, I've actually was on the grid back in 2018. They started introducing the sled drag handstand walk. It is very, very difficult to do.
Fun to watch.
Yeah. Now, for this first part, you said 10 handstand walks. Basically, they are handstand walking from the beginning of quadrant number 1 to the start of quadrant 2, like you're seeing here on your screen with Quentin Ambrosio. Now, he can hop and land on his hands as far as he wants beyond the line, as you're seeing here with these aces as well.
We're seeing Christian Alvarez-Diaz being substituted out for David Blatt, and it looks like both teams are doing this strategy where one is waiting at the end and the other one's going to run back and substitute a player out just to make sure everybody's shoulders are nice and fresh. You don't want to mess up here.
In addition to the transition time that it would take to land on your feet and then get back on your hands, somebody can already be gone.
100%.
So now we're watching these teams chip away. We're waiting for our referees for hands to go in the air. That will indicate that they have 5 or less remaining reps. Right now on the right side of your screen, hand is in the air for the Sharks. Now we're looking at the aces. Aces having a, sorry, go ahead, Cassie.
Both teams looking strong here. So far, looks like there hasn't been any fault with the transitions, which usually that can be where you mess up. A player didn't tag, that horn gets blown. You have to go back and tag that player behind that start line.
Yep, and that's Lasso. Okay, here we go. We're looking at the Sharks. They've got
Cara Palumbo going through, Blatt coming off. Looks like Quentin Ambrosio is getting ready to go back across that finish line.
Now this is down and back 10 times, so essentially crossing quadrant 1 20 times total. And there is 1 rep remaining for the Sharks.
2 remaining for the Aces.
All right, and now Sharks, Sam Nally. She's got that ball between her legs, and she is headed into quadrant 2, almost to quadrant number 3. She will go all the way to quadrant 3 like she did and is headed back to that start line.
And she hit that real clean pirouette with it too.
Now over with the Aces. That's Durant. She has reached quadrant number 3, heading back to the start. But the Sharks are just ahead. Sharks now dragging that sled in quadrant number 2. This is Gunning on your screen, showing absolute control, pulling that sled all the way across the entire length of the grid. Gunning has crossed the finish line, celebrating with Ambrosio. And now we'll go over, and we've got
Kristen Alvarez-Diaz finishing up for the Orlando Aces.
That's it.
And it looks like he's going to fault out here. He's going to be having to go back to the last hash mark that he completed. Referee helping that confusion. Janine Durant there for support.
Yes, and there's still just over a minute left in the time cap. So plenty of time to get this work done. Alvarez-Diaz is going to get through the finish line. Struggled a little bit. So when there's a fault like that, he has to move the sled back. And as you saw, or the female on the grid, the other player of the team. So they can work together to move the things back to where they need to start, where the fault occurred, which is exactly what happened. Wouldn't have helped them anyways, as Sam Nally had been long finished before he even got to quadrant number 4. So
definitely, and it is a big part of communication. Once again, Kristen Alvarez-Diaz doesn't speak a lot of English. So it's a matter of just getting his attention, like, hey, you know, like, para, like, you have to go back, you know?
Yeah, communication's gigantic on the grid. So they had an opportunity there. This was now another race that's gone to the Sharks. So Sharks now have won 2 out of the 8 races today. We still have a few races remaining, but they did close that gap just a little bit.
It's still anybody's match, though.
Absolutely. And we'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Peachy athletic shorts, guys. Just saying. Looking peachy.
And the peaches are great. They're really stretchy. They're soft.
I like the fit. I like the fabric. It makes me just feel more comfortable while I'm working out. I don't have to worry about things coming out.
Love training in these shorts. Love competing in the shorts. They stay put. Got a really nice thick waistband.
They definitely pass the squat test and the booty test. They're really comfortable. Like I could wear them out and I could wear them on the floor.
But still feel covered, but able to do all the movements.
Go get yourself some.
When you eat to perform, it's those points are so important. Like there's a lot of things that you have to keep in mind because we literally eat to perform.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting the grid set up for our next race of the day, the female triad. And as we get ready for that, just to recap what we have seen so far, basically a dominating day by the aces. Now, the Sharks did take the most recent Jack and Jill race. They edged out the aces by just a bit in that final handstand walk with the sled drag. Right now, aces leading 14-9, as you see on your screen. Of course, all of this brought to you by Carnivore Snacks. Cassie, have you tried those yet?
I have.
They are so good. It's not like beef jerky. Like beef jerky's kind of just like
chewy.
Yeah, chewy.
Yeah.
It's crispy.
It melts in your mouth.
And then it melts in your mouth. The fatty.
Yeah.
And you can go to FGL.com if you want to get some. You can use our code FGL15, get 15% off. But it is so good. It's so filling.
Super good, and it's only 2 ingredients, meat and salt. It's amazing.
I love meat and I love salt. It is. I have 2 bags at my house. Absolutely enjoy it.
Amazing. We're going into this female triad. Today, we can expect groups of 3 completing movements. They're not going to move on to the next element until each player is done with the reps on any given station. We got all kinds of things: kettlebell, hang, clean and jerks, bar muscle-ups, legless rope climbs, you name it, it's here.
Yeah, that's right. And as they go through these quadrants and work, we'll talk a little bit more about the weights and movements that will be happening on your screen. Right now, we've got Stallings, Durant, and Medeiros.
Stallings, Hollings, and Medeiros.
Excuse me, Stallings, Hollings, and Medeiros.
Say that 5 times fast.
Aces. Right.
And it looks like we got Sam Nally here, Valerie gunning. And that is Jenna Riddle, which is a single match sign. We haven't seen her this season. She is brand new. She's just here helping out for the playoffs, helping them get into the championships.
Yeah, that's right. She is the single day signing. Now, these ladies are chipping away at 16 double kettlebell hang, clean, and jerks. Now, as you mentioned, 3 ladies out on the grid per team at a time. They have these 3 stations they can work out, but they cannot move on to the next element until all 3 stations at the respective element prior is completed. Now, a little bit of a communication error as far as where these players need to be on the rig now has been corrected by the aces. That was Durant.
It looks like Durant has gotten the most reps so far of anybody, finishing up her reps. She's waiting for her teammates to make it to the next element.
That's right, and Hollings now just wrapped up on the far side of the screen. We're watching both teams start to attempt their 2 legless rope climbs. That is to a 12-foot target. They can use no legs whatsoever to get to the white tape mark. That is the 12-foot mark for them. Once they do, they can then use their legs to come back down if they wish.
Looking here at the Sharks, Jenna Riddle may be a rookie here, but it looks like she is like listening to the coach, being a part of the team, and completing the reps, just being where she needs to be. She might have started a little bit early, but that doesn't look like it's a problem for her. She is crushing it.
Yeah, 1 extra rep doesn't look like it's going to bother her at all. Aces and Sharks, both at the shoulder to overhead. 115 pounds on the bars. Now the Aces are over to their 16 deck to squat over box. That is a 24-inch box for these ladies. Essentially is a burpee, jumping up onto the box in a squatted position and then down into the next burpee.
That's
16
right.
total reps.
It looks like even though the Aces started first with Medeiros, the Sharks have more reps because they were able to get their players out first. Looks like they're substituting out Jenna Riddle, Cara Palumbo coming in.
Yep, and on your screen we've got the Aces. That's Medeiros, Hollings,
And Nicole.
And Nicole trying to wrap up. Hands are in the air for both teams. Now, all 3 sections have to be complete. So although one may be completely done, that doesn't mean that everybody else is, and they all have to cross the finish line together.
It looks like Janet Durant just has a few reps left. Medeiros making up for it. Nicole waiting for it. And the aces are crossing. Oh, no, they are not. They have 1 rep left. This might cost them. And they are crossing the finish line. Woo! That was a tough one.
Wow, so tons of confusion. You can see the Sharks just don't know how many reps they have left is what I can see from here.
What's confusing about triad is that you have to complete the reps on the object, right? You're doing reps on the element. Not necessarily everybody's doing a certain number of reps. You might switch out. You just have to pay attention how many reps are left on what box. And that's a big factor here.
Absolutely. It was very close for them, but they ended up edging it out. We'll be right back. We're going to hear from AGT.
If you thought about joining a grid team, this is for you. Grid League is a high-speed, high-adrenaline, exciting team sport that showcases a wide range of athletic types from heavyweight strength specialists to light and speedy bodyweight specialists and everything in between, including well-rounded utility players.
Can't explain the experience with my words because you have to be here to really experience what it is.
Grid League is a true team sport in every sense. It brings back the feeling of team camaraderie in a new and powerful way. As never before have men and women been showcased together in a true large team sport like this. It's the team sport experience elevated in an incredible and powerful way. Showcase your hard work on the big stage, earn sponsorship deals, receive official Grid League gear and products, and battle it out with your team for that championship prize. Your chance to earn the right to sign to a Grid League team happens once a year in the American Grid Trials. This online combine features several tests focused on a wide range of skill sets, and each with a prize. Only perform the tests you feel best exhibit your abilities, and there is no overall score. For the first time ever, prospective players can reserve their spot in the American Grid Trials far in advance. At the lowest price it will be offered all year, just $16, you can sign up for the trials. Plus, receive a bonus package at sign up that includes 150 grid training workouts from all 3 positions, including progressions for high-skill Grid League movements, an e-book that explains the Grid League race rule basics you'll need to know, access to our online training portal for our staff and referees to learn details about Grid League rules, an exclusive discount for prospective players to all remaining Grid League events in 2023, a Grid League sponsor coupon book worth hundreds in savings for the latest and best products in the fitness space. This is over $120 value for just $16. But more importantly, you'll be taking that first step to seeing your daily hard work shine on the grid and feeling the excitement of celebrating victory with your team. Don't wait, as the price will increase each month until the trials kick off in 2024. Take advantage of the best deal you can get right now and make the commitment to yourself. See you on the grid. Head to thefgl.com/play or the link in the caption below to get started.
Party people, welcome back. We have a review going on the grid. Let's talk about what we saw, what we think's happening, and we'll let them work that out.
So if you were watching the female triad earlier, we had Janet Durant on the 4th bar on the rig. She was supposed to be completing her reps on the 3rd bar. Since she completed 5 reps and then moved to the correct bar, the referees, they just counted off from where she left off. They were supposed to count off from the beginning because those reps weren't supposed to count. They were supposed to be fault, fault, fault. Unfortunately, it was a big miscommunication, and it looks like we're going to be running back some of these elements for triad.
Yep, looks like they're going to start. They'll let us know here in just a moment where they're going to be picking up from. But as you mentioned, she began her muscle-ups on the wrong rig. The same thing happened for the Sharks. The Sharks were told to move, and then they had to start from zero. When the Aces did, they started from where they left off, which they ultimately should have started from zero.
Definitely, and it was a close enough margin of finishing for both teams that it's worth rerunning the race.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is still a very close match.
In the spirit of fairness, you know? The Sharks are trying to get everything they can right now.
Yeah, Nick Habich, very passionate about it. He sees what's going on. That's, good coach, knows how to help his team in any way he can.
Play the game, man.
That's right.
You got to do it, especially when it's such a. It's a written rule, you know, like you have to complete it in the correct station. If you don't, it's supposed to be a fault. Fair is fair.
Yeah, and if things go the way that we think they're going to, then likely they're going to pick up right at the bar muscle-ups. Right, so
Correct.
We still have the whole race to go. We got 8 bar muscle-ups per section, 2 legless rope climbs to that 12-foot target, the 8 shoulder to overhead, and then the 16 deck to squat over box, which both teams just did all of. And now it's been 4 minutes, and they're going to do it again.
And this is a tough one, guys. This is where you're going to get the most fatigued. It might be one of the last ones, but remember, we still have to do sprint relay.
Yes, the ladies will have a slight rest after this because the male triad will come. So hopefully, they can plan for it properly as they head for that sprint relay. But in any event, for now, yep. Oh, sorry, we're hearing from the head referee right now, and he did confirm what we thought. They're going to be the second rerun of the day. And, for fairness, this is a professional sport. We have to run it right. There can be no gray areas.
Definitely. It looks like they're still setting that up, getting that finalized. Meanwhile, we're here at the Mr. Olympia Expo. How exciting is that?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. If you're in the Orlando area, we'll be here for 2 days. We have 2 matches today, the Northern Conference Championship, which you're watching right now, Southern Conference Championship between the Lions and the Palms at 3 p.m. Both of these matches deciding who will be going to the Olympia Grid Championship match tomorrow. Woo. Right here at the Mr. Olympia Expo, like you said.
Such great energy here. So many different types of athletes, all kinds of products. It's like Disney World for fitness right now.
Yeah, and different sponsors are here as well. We heard from Manny from Slate.
This caramel latte,
That's
man.
That new caramel latte everybody seems to be loving. All of the equipment that you see out on the grid, whether it is the rig, the bars, everything is provided by Valor Fitness as well.
And once again, we have carnivore snacks. That delicious meat and salt.
All right, here we go. We are 15 seconds away from kicking off the rerun of our female triad, starting at the shoulder to overhead. So they're going to stay away from the bar muscle ups. They're going to, everybody agreed to go right to the shoulder to overhead. So these ladies have 8 shoulder to overhead at 115 pounds, and then they're going over to those boxes for 16 deck to squat over box. Sharks are the first team to be to their deck to squat over box. There was a substitution for the Aces, but
they're bringing in Jeanette Nicole in her rookie season, partner with Taylar Stallings, and they are looking strong. They are looking to keep that win that they got. No hands up in the air so far, but both of these teams are hungry.
Sam Nally going for head out for her substitution as the remaining players of the Sharks knock out their 2 sections. Rainieri then just moved to the middle box, leaving a spot for Palumbo to step in. Great teamwork there. Over with the Aces, we got hands up. Both teams just separated by maybe 1 rep in one area. Once again, all 3 of these box sections need to be done 16 total repetitions. Now we're looking, hands are up. We got 1 rep. Aces are the ones that will take this triad.
Fair is fair. They ran it right back, but it looks like the Aces came to play today, and they are going to keep that win.
That's it. And the Sharks were still able to finish under the cap. Both teams still lots of energy, even though they had to rerun several of these races today. And we're just, you know, well, again, Aces, like you said, they came to play.
Oh, yeah.
So now we're going to watch them. They're going to be clearing out excuse me, they're going to be clearing the grid as we prepare for now the male triad. And though that'll give the ladies a moment, you know, like we said, they just came through and hit the back end of this female triad twice. And I'm going to go over and we're going to check with Cassie. She's going to be on the sideline with one of our owners in just a moment. For now, as I mentioned, take a look at your screen here. Every piece of equipment is provided by Valor Fitness. The rig, the boxes, the weights. We've got shoes provided by Innovate. All these awesome shorts that you see on these ladies by Peachy.
And now we move on to the men.
And now,
Kettlebell hang clean and jerks. We're gonna now put
all right, so we're going to go over to Cassie on the sideline with one of our ace players. Cassie, what do we got?
Hollings, how are you feeling today? Well, you caught me on race 10, so I'm tired. But we're hyped up because we want to play tomorrow.
I bet. How are you feeling knowing that you had to rerun that female triad?
Well, we already had to rerun some other stuff too. We practiced this season round so that we know we execute the first time. Even if we're tired, we know we can execute the second time. But both teams are in the same, you know, we have the same thing we're going up against. They have to run it too. So we stick to our game plan. We run it the same way we did the first time, and we pick each other up where we need to.
Was there a little bit of talk of strategy after knowing that you're going to rerun the race? Or were you just pretty much going like, all right, we know what to do. We've been practicing this. Let's just run it the same way.
Well, I've actually never done a burpee, deck, squat, jump over, and they wanted me to. And I just had to be honest with them, like, I might be fresh, but you might need to put someone else in because that's just not something I'm comfortable with. And having a deep squad like we do, we have so many people that can pick you up, so we just rely on our other teammates. I do what I'm good at. Sometimes I jump in when it's something I'm not super comfortable with, but for something like this, I feel better with my other girls helping me out.
Well, Kayla, I can say that you absolutely crushed it. Great job, and I look forward to seeing the rest of your match.
Thank you.
Back to Joe at the table.
Thank you very much, Cassie, and thank you, Kayla Hollings, for joining us for that interview. Now, we are getting things set up for the male triad, and let's once again talk about what we have going on with that triad today. For the male triad, you will see similar movements to what you saw, well, the exact same movements than what you saw for the ladies, just a little bit heavier weight. Now, as far as the triad, it consists of 5 elements, like we said, 3 stations of each working at the same time. Now, these are gender specific. Each station must be completed before moving on to the next. As far as the elements today, all the same movements that we saw with the ladies, a little bit heavier. For the men, we have 53-pound kettlebells for those double kettlebell hang clean and jerks, 8-bar muscle ups, 2 legless rope climbs, and that is to the 15-foot mark on the rope. Shoulder to overhead, 8 repetitions at 185 pounds. And then, of course, 16 deck to squat over box on a 30-inch box. Cassie, welcome back.
Thank you. It's been a while.
Seemed like she had a lot of energy. Kayla seems fired up. This could be the race that locks it up for them.
100%. Kayla Hollings was super into it. She's always such a great person to look at on the grid, very experienced. Her and her husband, Alex, both play on the floor, the Orlando Aces, excuse me. And it looks like the Aces are pretty fired up right now. Great energy here.
You are 100% correct. 16-10, the Aces lead the Sharks. Now, the final, we have 2 races remaining. We have the male triad, and then we have the sprint relay. The sprint relay is worth 3 points. So technically, if we haven't seen a bonus flag, which I'm kind of surprised now from the Sharks, because this could be their only chance to close the gap. They technically need to throw, which it's too late now because we're 20 seconds from the start of this male triad, but they needed that bonus, I think.
I mean, there's still sprint relay, and definitely the Aces are going to have to take no points for the next one for the Sharks to be in it.
Yeah, of this race right now.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so on your screen, we've got
Martin, Nimchek, and Shappe.
That's right. And these gentlemen, starting with 16 double kettlebell hang, clean, and jerks for the Aces.
That is Angel Serrano, Matt Jansen, and Ryan DeMatti.
Yes, DeMatti, Jansen.
And Serrano. Everybody's looking really good. No substitution so far. Oh, I lied. There goes Joaquin Grams for the Southwest Florida Sharks.
Yeah, and you see Martin using his brain there, scooting back to the line because it's less transition if he can just hand it off right there on the other side of that white line. Surprising that the other teams haven't tried anything like that.
The sport of grid is so mental. There's so many things that you have to think about, and things like that can be the difference between a win and a loss.
For sure. All right, we've got Blatt, Serrano, and Lasso chipping away at 8-bar muscle-ups. For the Sharks, Martin, Graham, and Ambrosio. All 6 players shaking this rig, trying as quickly as they can to knock out these 8-bar muscle-ups before heading over to the ropes. 2 legless rope climbs, and that is to the very top, touching the top of the rig, 15 feet off the ground.
Aces are about 1 rep ahead of the Southwest Florida Sharks here.
Now you might...
Oh, looks like there was some kind of legal substitution. Someone didn't tag, and they're going to fix that problem. Here we go.
Yep, so Aces now. That's Jansen, we can see. DeMatti facing Jansen. Serrano behind Jansen. They are chipping away at 8 shouldered overhead, barbell 185 pounds. Looking at Shappe and Joaquin Graham. Now, Nimchek joining forces with these gentlemen, but it might be too little too late as the Aces have headed over to their quadrant number 4 for 16 deck to squat over box. Now we've got both teams on your screen. Here's a great view to watch these teams chipping away. We are watching 4 referees in the black shirts to put their hands in the air. That will indicate that there are 5 reps remaining.
No hands in the air so far, but both teams are super hungry here. Looks like they're both going to be finishing for sure. Hands up in the air for the Aces.
Yep, Aces with just about 4 reps remaining in that center section of boxes. Same thing for the Sharks. Hands are in the air. Both teams have a hand or 2 up, but it's going to take all 3 sections to be completed for the team to win this race. And the Aces have finished their 16 deck to squat over box, all but guaranteeing their trip to the Olympia Grid Championship match tomorrow. And of course, just showing great sportsmanship, not going absolutely insane, but you probably could tell that on the inside, they are.
Oh, definitely. They have some smiles on their faces. They're looking happy. They're looking like a team. Love to see it.
Yep, then last year we saw them go against the Wild, the Aces against the Wild, and end up blowing it, we'll just say, for lack of a better term, and losing their chance to go to the championship match against the Lions last year. And it looks like now this year they're going to get that opportunity.
That's right, Joe.
So we'll be right back. We're going to hear from Lumaflex, and then we'll come back with that sprint relay.
Flexible. The panel can elegantly wrap around your muscles and joints, maximizing treatment to the affected areas. This device is the essence of portability. Easy to charge, easy to use, and designed for accessibility anytime, anywhere. The LumaFlex Body Pro is remarkably durable, capable of withstanding over 100 kgs worth of pressure. And here's the kicker. It's fully waterproof. As industry creators, we brought the latest research to life, making red light therapy accessible to the masses. LumaFlex Body Pro, a revolutionary step towards a healthier, pain-free you.
We are Relax and Get Results. Josh and Daniel here. We've been with the Grid League since about 5 years now, and we love being part of the team, taking care of the team. Their well-being means a lot to us, so we're always in the sideline, making sure they're okay. You know, we specialize in everything that has to do with sports, massage, sports recovery, stretching. So what we do is basically help them maximize their potential and help them prevent injury as well.
The recovery aspect, we speed up the recovery time, help athletes regain range of motion that they've lost due to injury or overuse, overtraining. Pretty much just keeping people as healthy as possible is what our goal is.
Yeah, especially with GREET, you know, it's very intense and it's very fast. So when we improve their mobility, their flexibility, they're obviously going to perform at a higher level. So with them, that's mainly our main concern, is to get them flexible so they're faster at everything they do.
My name is Lacey Boyd. I am a utility player for the Orlando Aces. I tore my ACL during one of the grid races called Mirror. It was 10 hang power clean, but on the 8th or 9th rep, I felt like a pop in my knee, and I was like, well, that's not good. But I just kept going and didn't really think anything of it because I've never been injured before.
The video that she showed seemed like a very minor injury. However, she tore her ACL. She tore her meniscus. She had a displaced bucket handle tear, which is a serious issue. As a former CrossFitter and a former athlete and a sports-trained orthopedic surgeon, that's an important part of what I do as a sports medicine physician. Is I look at the athlete's specific sport, the movements that are involved, and we tailor the rehab to get people back to their particular sport.
If you get injured, take the time your body needs to recover. Be very patient with yourself, both physically and emotionally. It's really like, you kind of feel like you're alone when it happens initially, because like none of your other friends or family are feeling the way that you do. You feel like not helpless, but in a sense you feel like you lost your independence at the time. But just listen to yourself, listen to your doctor, and it's just a minor setback to fling you forward. It's all gonna end up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final race of match number 1 today. The Aces versus the Sharks. We are heading into the sprint relay. The Orlando Aces have a commanding lead over the Sharks. This is all but over.
All but over. But it ain't over till it's over, Joe. We still got that sprint relay.
That's right. And the Aces just looking to put an exclamation point on their first match and their Northern Conference Championship as they look towards tomorrow at the Olympia Championship grid match. So what do we have, Cassie, to look forward to for this sprint relay?
So a sprint relay is basically a relay race in which 4 males and 4 females must finish 8 elements. It's only 1 player on the grid at a time. They can sub out. Once they finish that element, they have to run back to the start line. 4-point touch, that means both hands, both feet behind the start line and run all the way to the finish line until that next person can finish those elements.
Right, and as far as the elements today, what do we got?
We got so many things, Joe, just like sprint relay always is. We got 50-pound double dumbbell burpees over 24-inch box. We got ring muscle ups, single dumbbell pistol thrusters, 6-pound med ball handstand walks, triple touches, deck to squat over 30-inch box, 30-pound wall ball to 10-foot target, and a 225-pound overhead squat. Now, we're seeing the Sharks here in the sprint relay. One thing about the Sharks, they love to have an eventful sprint relay, no matter where they are in their standings.
Yes, they do. And last time these teams faced off, it came down to this race. Ultimately going to the aces, as we mentioned before, but still going to be really fun to watch. They have a lot of awesome athletes on their team. So with that, we are about 1 minute away from the final race of match number 1.
That's right. Sprint relay is a really great way to showcase everybody's individual talent. It's only one person working at a time. They're doing whatever their specialty is, right? Strength specialist is going to do the barbell movements. The bodyweight specialists are going to complete the other stuff. Now, where I see this being difficult, I see the med ball handstand walk being difficult, and I also see the wall balls with 30 pounds being difficult for this match format.
Yes, I've done a handful of 30-pound wall balls, and when that thing's coming down, it's like it's tremendously different than 20, or, you know, for ladies 14 is very heavy. Now, what you will see, something with the sprint relay, once they send out a player onto the grid to complete an element, they can technically substitute as long as they have not done the last repetition of that element.
Correct.
So for instance, we can send out a player for these 12 double dumbbell burpees over the box. They can do 11 and then tag in somebody to do the 12th. The 12th person, or the person who does that 12th rep can then complete by going 3 or 4 points of touch and sprinting through the finish, and allowing the person who started that element to possibly come back out if they need to help in another area.
Which is super important to note, because we've seen a few times somebody finish all the elements accidentally, and teams scrambling to figure out who's going to be doing the next one.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, we got a 225-pound, 4 overhead squats at 225 pounds. If by accident one of the bigger guys, well, definitely going to be probably one of the bigger guys, wraps up a movement or the wall balls or something they shouldn't, who's going to lift that barbell?
100%, and it also has to be an active player on the grid, which is another notable thing. If you send an inactive player out onto the grid, you automatically lose that race.
That's right. And we are about 30 seconds away from our final race of the Northern Conference Championships. Right now, you've got Martin on your screen for the Sharks, and for the Aces,
we got Ryan DeMatti.
Ryan DeMatti. Maddie and Martin ready to come out. Now, you've got, it's pretty interesting. DeMatti, a bigger guy, but probably, you know, very strong. Those 50-pound dumbbells are no joke when you're trying to step over a box with them.
100%. And I would say Martin is a little bit more of a bodyweight specialist, even though he's looking mighty strong this year.
That is exactly what I was getting at. The size difference between these guys is considerable, but they're both moving very easily. But, oh, we just saw Sharks do exactly as we said. Martin knocked out some of those. He handed off to Shappe. Shappe now wrapping things up for the Sharks. He has 2 reps remaining, and Aces now doing exactly also as we said. Tapping out. Hollings finishing the final rep for the Aces, and she will sprint through the finish. So now the Aces are out ahead, heading into the second element of the sprint relay. David Blatt on your screen, chipping away at 8 ring muscle-ups. Now, he is doing a butterfly ring muscle-up. Muscle-ups on the ring is very difficult as it is. This is just a whole nother level.
This involves a lot of swinging, which means you have to stay in control of the rings the entire time, which it takes a real specialist to be able to pull these off at such speed.
Yeah, and Quentin Ambrosio also very good at those butterfly muscle-ups. He has tagged out. He is sprinting through the finish.
Meg Medeiros for the Aces, already on those dumbbell pistol thrusters, few reps ahead. She's taking it nice and easy, making sure that all of these repetitions count. We got Nick Shappe here for the Southwest Florida Sharks here once again. We're going to see if he finishes up all of these. Now, we've seen Shappe in almost every single race today.
Yeah, and he
has to be pretty fatigued.
Yeah, and he's already, this is his second movement, and to answer your question, he did not finish that element, so we might see him once again out on the grid. For the aces, they've already kicked up. Durant, she's got that 6-pound med ball between her legs. She is going 80 feet, the entire distance of the grid.
And as Gomez crosses, we have Valerie Gunning coming down the grid with that med ball. She's looking strong. She's been doing the handstand walks all day. Valerie Gunning is such a key player for the Southwest Florida Sharks. Not only is she one of the strongest females on the team, she also can walk on her hands. She can do all types of gymnasty stuff.
Yep, and over with the aces, this is Lasso for triple touches. The triple touch is the toe to bar, chest to bar, bar muscle up like you just saw. He has wrapped up. He is heading back for 4 points of contact, and Chelsea Rainieri on your screen. Also going
gymnasty. Here we go. College gymnast here to finish off for the Sharks strong. Meanwhile, Jeanette Nicole here for the Orlando Aces, already on the box.
Yeah, and that's 8 deck to squat over box like we saw in the triad. For the ladies, initially was 24 inches. She is doing it on a 30-inch box, and she's got 3 reps remaining.
Sam Martin back on the grid for the second time in the sprint relay. This time just doing what he does best, moving fast. Looks like he faulted out a few times. Not sure what happened there. Maybe it wasn't a total touch to his chest on the ground. He's just moving too fast. You know, like the Flash, you can't really see it.
Yeah, you really got to pace yourself on something like that to avoid those faults. Now we've got Serrano for the Aces. He's got a 30-pound ball going up to a 10-foot target, making that ball look like it is 14 pounds.
I was about to say, we were talking about, oh, like this might be a hard one for them. Nope, he is eating those. Yep. Meanwhile, we have Jenna here, that single match sign, Jenna Riddle, doing those 30 pounds, and she's making them look easy as well.
Yeah, and she's got a few reps remaining. Serrano high-fiving as he crosses, and Nate Jansen for the Aces coming to put a final stamp on the Aces ticket to the Olympia Grid Championship match. He's got 4 overhead squats at 225 pounds.
Nate Jansen is that guy for sprint relay to finish off with that heavy barbell.
And he will lightly jog and head to the finish as he celebrates with his team.
Naruto running.
And they are fired up as they are going to the Olympia Grid Match Championship.
Meanwhile, Anthony Nimchek just finished that last rep. He's going to hit that 4-point touch. Support from his team, taking it easy all the way into the finish line. Nick Habich stepping onto the grid, making a joke of it, because as you know, he's not allowed to be stepping onto the grid. That's all right. And they are going to close it out.
And these are your Northern Conference qualifiers, and now your Northern Conference champions, the Orlando Aces. They are going to the big match tomorrow.
For the first time ever. This is their second playoff appearance ever in Florida Grid League history, and now their first championship appearance.
Yep, and
Joe, what a match.
What a match. I mean, they started out a little slow, the Aces. They lost that first race of the match. Then they went 6 in a row, gave up 1 or 2 towards the end, but ultimately they were here they knew what they were here to do.
They were here to play, and they did not let it turn into a Sharks frenzy.
They were not going to let it go like last year, for lack of a better explanation.
That's right.
Right? With that being said, we still have one more match today to decide who is going to join them at the Olympia Grid Championship match tomorrow here in Orlando, Florida. Woo. At 3 p.m. today, we've got the Palms versus the Lions. Until then, I'm Joe Roberto.
And I'm Cassie Martinez.
And we will see you in just about a half an hour. Stick with us. We'll see you soon.